So usually a little box jumps up somewhere on your screen. You got to click OK or got it or something like that. And then we get going. So we always start this class with seated meditation posture for multiple reasons. This is one of the best ways to actually keep up your
Doesn't matter.
Not interested?
Carol, you just unmuted yourself.
Can you
So
send it to me?
Carol, I'm going to mute you again, so because we can hear
Carol?
you.
No, yeah.
So now you're muted, so you can just keep it that way. Okay, so we're sitting at the front edge, and you get your two buttock bones right at that edge. Your legs extended over the chair, and you can be practicing the very important chassis of the body: pelvis, spinal column, rib cage, and skull, known as the axial skeleton, and all of the musculature and nerves and everything that keep that well aligned. So a lot of times our posture is broken. Pelvis is spilled back, upper shoulders are sort of slouched, and then the head is drawn up like this to try to keep looking at the horizon correctly. And then when we're walking around in this shape, it's exhausting. It creates very bad habits, creates a lot of tension, which makes us top heavy and clumsy. So it's very important that we get this axial skeleton, pelvis tipped a little forward, spinal column elongated. And what happens is it has a sort of like a natural springiness, spring-loadedness, that when I go from being slouchy to tipping my pelvis a little forward, and you feel this sort of length out through the crown of your head. And we achieve that relationship. Now, again, if this is something you don't do regularly, it takes some effort to place everything just so. And also, until you practice some of these movements more that we're going to do, it's going to require effort to keep it. But the ideal is that eventually you find where when you have good alignment, it takes no effort. The alignment itself holds itself up. And so what we just did in Taoist Tai Chi terminology is called finding your zhongjang, or your central upright. So pelvis a little tipped forward, spinal column long up through the crown of the head. And an important piece is that we don't have our chin forward and up, which closes this off. But to get the crown to lengthen up, there's actually a chin down, base of skull up. Right? And so now we've got this zhongjang, central upright, pelvis, spinal column, head, rib cage. And then the appendicular, your appendages, are scapula or shoulder blades and the arms out to the hand, and then the thigh bones where they plug into the hip socket and the legs, right? So it's a kind of a cool way to just simplify what you're dealing with. Pelvis, spine, neck, and head and rib cage. How's that doing? And then, okay, scapula. Am I holding my shoulders up like this? Can I relax them? Are they too much forward? Do I need to draw them a little back? Or am I pulling on my shoulder blades? Can I relax them? And then the same in the legs. Not clenching your legs together, but being loose and relaxed. So that's another piece with the Taoist practice, is what's called chunwan, or softening and releasing everything that you can release as your means of finding stability. So often we're trying to find stability through bracing. So practice doing the opposite of that. Relax all effort through your body. At first it feels less stable, especially if we were standing up, you'd feel, whoa, a little less stable. But over time it becomes this bed of stability, and also mobility. So loose enough to move and also grounded. Breathing in through the nose, long and smooth and full. Out through the mouth, long, smooth, empty. We'll just do 10 breaths. On your own, you could do 10 minutes of just breathing, and you would be well served by that. In through the nose. Feel the expansion, stretching you open from the inside, holding that breath. And then out the mouth, all the way out, and holding it. And when you're ready, inhale again. Continue. As students in my classes, what would help you the most is getting to where when I'm talking, it sort of doesn't distract you. So it's very easy when I'm talking, notice if it's happening right now, that you've stopped focusing on your breathing, you've stopped attending to your own experience, and you're now grabbing onto what I'm saying and sort of being pulled out of your practice. So practice being able to prioritize your mind, your breath, your body the whole time. And then you let my instructions kind of float in, because that's how I'm intending what I'm saying. I'm gently guiding your experience that you're having. So don't let me break your attention. So that's part of the challenge. So again, notice if it's happening now. Probably is. Have you forgotten the breath? Are my words distracting you? Try to work on not letting that happen. You're just inhaling long and smooth. Holding the breath. You're exhaling long, smooth. Holding the breath empty. 3 more just like that. See if you can, again, notice any layer of tension anywhere in your body that you can just say, let go. You can just soften. You can relax. So you feel more stability as you settle downward. That's called Chunwan. But also there's what's called Qingling, lightness and nimbleness and ease. Now let's use that light, nimble ease to move. First movement, slide your hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. Lift the chest, lift the chin, arch the spine. So this is spinal extension. Then the opposite, slide your hands forward past your knees, and we hollow the chest back, drop the head, opening the whole back of the spinal column. It's called spinal flexion. We're going to do this a few times. Sliding hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. So that's appendicular skeleton movement. And we're arching the spine. That's axial skeleton movement. And then we're rounding. Let's add the breathing to that. So next time you're going to arch, inhale. So the spinal extension, inhale, inhale, inhale. Holding the breath. And then exhale. Hollowing the chest, dropping the head, empty. And again, inhale. And hold. And then exhale. Hold. One more time. Now come back to neutral, that Zhongjung, and see if you can get a little more Chunwan or a little more release. Because a lot of times there's tension in the body that we can't just say, hey, relax. We have to kind of work it. We got to massage it out. So that's, if you just did what I had you do, you have just massaged some of that deep tension out and see if you can allow it to settle through a little better chun one, releasing. Now, this sliding of left hand forward, and when I say left, I'm saying I'm doing my right, but I'm telling you to do your left. So I'm your mirror here. So left hand forward, right hand and elbow back, turn, rotating and look over the shoulder behind you. And then switch. Right hand forward, left hand back, left elbow back, turn the shoulders, turn the head. And then switch again. Turn. So same idea, we're kind of wringing out a rag. We're cleaning out places where barnacles and rust accumulate in the different ranges of motion the body is built to explore. And the human body is amazing. I mean, it's an amazing vehicle with many different capacities for movement, but that becomes a problem for us as we get older, or if some sort of disease kicks in and we don't practice movement. It becomes like plaque or rust accumulating in the body. Now settle back to middle. Hang the arms alongside you. Again, allow for that chun one, that release. And then stay very relaxed. And then just lean to the right. Now as you lean to the right, lift your left wrist up. This allows you just a little bit more ability to flirt with disaster. Tipping over the edge of the chair, but don't fall. And then come back to center. And then we tip. So balance being less a state of gripped position, held position, and more a state of freedom of movement organized around a middle pivot. The middle pivot, according to Tai Chi practice, is belly button, lumbar spine section. This is kind of that middle pivot. So again, hips are relaxed, shoulders are relaxed, and we lean. So I have a freedom of movement to change shape and move through space, and yet I don't feel like I'm about to fall because it's organized around this middle. Come back to middle. And then let's get our appendicular skeleton, which ties into the scapula back here. So the arms begin here, not here. So we go slide up, slide down, slide shoulders up, and the arms lift along with it, but not because I'm lifting my arms at all. My arms are loose, and then the scapula slide down. So get that feeling that the arms come along for the ride rather than you're adding a bunch of tension and activity through the arm. The arm should be like cooked noodles, and the scapula are the moving part. Now, the other thing the scapula do is they squeeze back towards each other. That's called retraction, neutral, and then protraction, where the scapula slide out and around. And neutral, retraction, like you're cracking a walnut between the shoulder blades. Relax them and then spread them apart from each other. So the shoulder blades are separate from the rib cage. They float on the body. We need them to be free. Now we bring the scapula apart, shoulders forward, then lift up. Then we go over top and back, and then we slide down. So now we're doing sort of a circle, in a way, of the shoulder blades to liberate them from sort of imprisonment on the back. This both allows freer movement of the arms and more dexterity, but in terms of balance and walking, because this class is about gait, what it's doing is it's emptying out this top heaviness. So there's a saying in Tai Chi, top empty, bottom full. So we're emptying out. Let's reverse. Go back, up, forward, down. So each round, think of it as we're cleaning. We're flossing the teeth. We're, scraping barnacles off the hull of a ship. So there's something extra going on in our scapula, upper back, shoulders. It's like a glue. And we got to unglue it and get that glue to become more like lubricant so that there's Schwen or fluidity. Last one. And down. And then one more movement with the arms and upper body. Bend the elbows. Now we flare the elbows out and up. So you can see how high my elbows go, but it's not because I'm pushing with a bunch of effort. It's because I'm relaxed. Right? You see how loose everything is. And then down. And then in. So Tai Chi is again, I studied many different movement modalities from Western fitness science to yoga to then now Taoist movement sort of theory, you could say. And it's just amazing. Let's go ahead and take elbows back and then down and then forward and up, because what it emphasizes is ease, fluidity, so that eventually it feels like everything's sort of floating, like your whole body is like when you go into the ocean or into a pool and you feel that buoyancy and that freedom of movement. That's what this yields over time, is just a freedom of movement that doesn't require effort. And down. Elbows out. Now left hand high, right hand low. We cross and hug. And then we open, elbows to the side. And then we switch and cross, hug, and open. This little opening series is just getting the basics of where we tend to hold and accumulate tension. We're hitting those basic spots so that we're set up to really succeed when we stand up in a moment. And then just let your arms hang. Now, couple with the lower body. We bring right knee up a little, right heel in. So you see how this is like a spring loading, then push away, then reload, and then set that foot down and switch. Load and push, load and down. Two more each leg. Load, push, load, down. Load, push. So freedom of movement as a prerequisite for function. You want your leg to function. Yes, it needs to be strong, but how we think of what that means is important, what strong means. Now, straighten the right leg out, point, flex, point, flex. So freedom of movement of the foot and ankle. And then tilt the foot in, out, in, out, in. And then we circle. So rather than a stiff foot glued to the bottom of my leg being helpful with balance, go ahead and switch directions. It's the opposite of that. It's the totally free, agile movement of that ankle that allows it to be the most adaptable and functional. Switch, point, flex, point, flex. And then tilt the foot in, out, in, out. And then circle. This also is a networking challenge for the brain and body. We're connecting all the little nerve receptor sites. Now, scoot forward on your chair. Last one with the legs here. We step a little wider than hip distance. Lift your toes up off the floor. Now, look at that shape that I'm making here. The thighs turn in and the feet turn in. This is internal rotation. Now lift your toes, turn the knees and toes out. Feel that open space here. Another very important space, the quad, the groin hip junction and leg junction. Now turn in and turn out. So again, the ability to move and be functional and agile requires internal real estate or space. And so we're opening up this space, whereas a lot of times this area is glued together and stuck. Now we're saying no, open, close, right? So freedom of movement. Now back to neutral. From that same space, the quad, fold. So now my legs are not moving, but my pelvis is moving. And if my pelvis is folding and unfolding, the axial skeleton is along for the ride. So notice a lot of times what people do, if you look at me here, when I'm folding at the hips, people round their spine. Don't round your spine. Instead, fold at the hips. So you see my spinal column, my axial skeleton isn't changing at all its relationship to itself, but I'm moving it noticeably through space. And then add to it this one here where we tip a little bit back from the hips and the spine again comes along for the ride. So we get this freedom of movement at the hips. And this quad is the powerhouse. The belly, low back, and quad is the main mechanism for movement of the body. Now, let's put that into practice. So, arms hang, right? We loosened them up so that they're not holding tension. So drop them, let them be loose. Notice they didn't fall off, right? Then slide your feet back and just watch me do this. Notice when I stand up, where does my energy go? It's not up, it's forward, right? That's important because now I'm no longer using the chair, I'm using my legs to connect me to the sturdiness of the ground. Then I just push through the ground and my body goes tall. To sit down, also same thing. My weight stays down through the feet, I hip hinge. Notice I haven't bent my knees yet, I've just folded at that quad. And then I keep folding at the quad, the groin, hip, leg relationship. Sink, 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 sink. Then my butt finds the chair, and now I'm in the chair. So let's do that together. You slide your feet back a little, upper body loose and relaxed, folding, and then moving forward out of the chair. And then once you achieve that, that's the only difficult part, really. Then it's get tall. And then we fold at the hips again. Most important part. And now I've opened up the mechanism so I can just go and sink. And then if I don't know where my chair is, I can reach back and say, okay, where are you? Pull it under my bottom, and here I am. Fold. Now, when you stand up, notice, did you start to rely on bracing and tension? Because now we're standing, so it's a little scarier, a little less safe. Can you relax? And it, like I said before, it'll feel less stable in the beginning to relax while standing, but over time, it allows you all kinds of freedom of movement while retaining your ground. One more time, down, and one more time, up, and tall. Now, don't sit in your chair, fold and sink and dangle these arms loose and dangle down, down, down like you had to pick up your glasses or a pen or something off the floor. You grab it and then you just push through the earth and rise back up. So keep your body loose and relaxed and notice how that can help you function really well. Oh, I got to get something down there. I relax and I just let my joints and tissues slide and glide along each other. And there's just no time when you need to tighten and grip at all. Maybe if the thing you're picking up is really heavy, okay, that's different. But a lot of times we can accomplish most of what we need staying in this Tai Chi state, this relaxed, mobile, agile state. So now here we are standing. You got your chairs on either side. Move towards the right side chair, and it's there for safety. Try to start with no hand on the chair, but you know it's there for safety. Now, if you look at my body on the screen, you can see right now I've got my weight in both legs. Now, this is maybe the most important practice. It's the one that people don't think about. Notice now, where's my body weight? It's in this leg. Now, I didn't yank this foot off the ground, but you can tell that it's changed its status to empty because I allowed this leg to do all that support work for me. So the empty levity of this leg is determined by, did I correctly go into this leg? From the middle, from the quad, change to the left leg. So do a few of these where you do not separate the foot from the floor, but you do separate the status of full and empty. Full and empty. Now, if the quad and belly and back and if there's a lack of stability or a bunch of tension in the body, what this starts to look like is this sort of clumsy thing here. I'm exaggerating it, but this is how it can appear. Versus when it's loose, all that change is happening in the internal space inside the body. So create that space. That's what Tai Chi is all about. And we got to relax to do it. But then this allows Zhongjung or central upright to be retained while I'm exploring changing full, changing empty. So this is a great practice at Starbucks or Pete's Coffee or at the supermarket or while you're waiting for your coffee or tea or a kettle, or when you're watching some television or something. Stand up and just change weight, just create this space inside. Now, hand on the chair if needed for this next one. You go into your left leg, right foot empty, lift the heel and get on the tip of the shoe. So this will tell you how much weight you have remaining there. Ideally, it's 0, right? You can see that my foot has got no weight in it. And then I put the heel down, still empty, and then I change. Let the weight go down through that right leg. Lift the heel, get to the tippy toe. Release the heel back down, still empty. And then from your middle pivot, change. So this is the prerequisite to safely walking forward, backwards, sideways, going upstairs, downstairs, turning to the left, turning to the right, as well as martial arts, kicking this way, that way, doing different yoga poses. This ability to change and find your connection to the ground. Now, level 3 of this exercise. Hand on the chair for this one. Get to your tippy toe. Now, disconnect the foot from the floor. This is a real moment of truth that says, oh, I thought this was empty, but it actually isn't. Or some of you that have been doing it a while, you're starting to find like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then you change. So now I got to wait long enough to get this full, this empty. Now can I go tippy toe, chair if needed, or maybe not, and just disconnect the foot from the floor. Put it down empty, then change. Wait long enough to actually feel, okay, empty. And then it's that emptiness that gives this the freedom of movement, the levity. So I address the fact that I got to have my gravity connection down, Chunwan, and then Qingling, lightness and nimbleness with stability. One more. And the cool thing is you slow down in the beginning, slow down to really train yourself to do this. But as you get better at it, it can become swift and instant again. Now, hand on chair, all the way up. And just notice here, the leg doesn't go any higher than this. This is it. So use the chair to get all the way up and see if you can have the foot loose, the knee loose, and the hip loose. So the whole hip from that quad is just empty. And then from that empty quality, just soften that leg long back down to the earth without any weight in it. And then we change. So put the weight down through the left leg, go to tippy toe, disconnect, and then go all the way up. Again, trying to not be clenched through this leg, but loose, loose, loose. And then soft and long down. From the middle, change. Once the weight's down through the right, tippy toe, disconnect, lift. Some of you might even try no hands, right? You get up with the hand on the chair and then you can go, how do I do? And then maybe you practice down with no hands. Then change, chair whenever needed. All right, so each of these exercises, we've been doing the same exercise rather than adding a million new ones because there's depth, there's layers of depth and little additional challenges you can create. Now, from here, you got your chair on your right, back up a little bit extra so you have a little bit of a runway in front. I'm going to turn at an angle so that you guys can see me, but you just keep going forward, backward. Put your weight in your left leg, empty right foot, put the heel in front, toes up. So now, change the weight into your front leg, keep the back toes touching the earth, and then change the weight. So initially what you see is forward and backward movement, but that's what gets us in trouble a lot is when we're going backwards, we're thinking backwards and we go too far, or even when we're going forwards, we're going too far. So saying in Tai Chi, primary direction is down. So try that, stay super relaxed, foot in front, and then just go down. And notice that you move forward just fine, and the same thing going backwards, just think down. Down, down, and down. So we're moving forward, moving backward. Now, stay in your back leg, hand on chair, disconnect, straight leg, lift from this empty hip, and then place the heel down softly, and then change. Back leg, empty, do a little flamingo, a little bend to the knee, put the toe back where it was, and then change. Down gives you the up. Down gives you the ability to come up safely. So I'm not yanking up from the ground. I'm connected so much to the ground that everything here is loose. And then going down, attending to the down, gives me the freedom to do this. One more. Loose and relaxed, soft. Now, hand on chair so you can go all the way down. Change. Once the weight's all the way down through this soft, springy leg, then bring this knee forward and up, and then reach it behind, toe touch. And change. Weight going down gives me the up. Loose, relax, right? So my balance here is not coming from how strong I'm holding, but from the opposite of that, being so loose that I'm grounded perfectly and I have this levity in the body, right? And so this takes time to practice, but it's really important to start to get the taste of it, like a connoisseur of wine can taste the subtleties. You want to taste the subtleties of the state of your body, of this loose, relaxed Tai Chi state, as soon as you can. All right, bring your right foot back. We're going to switch sides. Side step. Now you got your other chair. Again, I'm turning a little angle so you can see the various angles. Now, put your weight in your right leg, left foot in front. So just pause there for a moment. Can you even achieve this where it's full, empty? See how I'm able to just waggle my foot and leg here from the hip? That's because I don't have any weight in it. It's empty. Now, change. Waggle the foot here. Is it loose? And then change. Primary direction is not forward and back. It's down. And then down. So the Tai Chi saying is separate, empty, and full. Separate. And change. So that's level 1. Let's go level 2. As the weight goes down, use your chair as needed to allow you to lift and lower while it's still empty, and then change. As your weight's down through your left, you got the freedom of movement here, right? and then you change. As the weight gets down out of the body, this is free because this is stable. And then change. Wait long enough to actually feel connected down and then go, oh, there's that freedom. And then change. So we got to slow down first, but then once the waves are cleared through to the earth and we're not holding all this extra in the body, then it can just be instantaneous, just quick. Right? That's where that swiftness of Tai Chi comes from, not from trying to speed up, but from being so relaxed, right? That everything's fast. Now, all the way. Down, make sure it stays empty, touch the heel, and then change. Now we're going empty, so it can go forward and up, and back. Touch the ground. Again, notice it's still empty because all my weight's still here. And then I go, the weight goes down here. One more. Right, so you just see me going a little faster, but I don't notice if you tried to go fast, you probably tense up and then it becomes awkward and clumsy versus just loose, relaxed. So that's what Tai Chi offers. That's the promise. Switch sides. Now, make sure you're a little bit back from your chair. Put the weight in your left leg, right foot empty, put the heel out in front. So now, full empty, right? Change. Now this is empty. Keep it empty while you step it. And then change. Now going backwards, but remember, down is the primary direction. So go down. Once you're down through that right leg, then the left foot should be free to step empty. And then down. Now I just moved backwards in the room. And now I'm going to move forwards by going down, step, or a down, step, down. And then down, step, down. So a lot of times what's happening is we're glued together so that when this foot goes forward, the body goes with it. I'm exaggerating, but that's subtly what happens in the body. That's where if you catch your foot, you fall. Whereas here, if I catch my toe on something, I don't fall because I'm still stable here. So I step, and then I'm ready to change. Same thing going backwards, especially going backwards. If the foot pulls the body back, that's very clumsy and dangerous. This, right? This is not dangerous at all. This is safe. And then shift back. Level 2, chair. We go up, down, shift. Now with this foot empty, step over something. Pick up the foot, over, place down the heel empty, then change the weight. And now that little flamingo, lift, lower, we shift back. Now this one is very important. Use the chair for safety. We go up, tuck. Now right here, reaching back while staying in this leg. Separating that movement. And then we shift. Lift, lower, shift. Step over something slowly. And then shift. Flamingo. Lift and lower. Shift. Now this is just the really developmentally rich spot because up, tuck, we have to really recommit to grounding through this leg to reach back like that. It's difficult to find that separation. But when you do, that's when you're really starting to get this middle free. And then finally, let's take that to the highest level. So we go all the way up, all the way down, shift, and then just exaggerate this. Go heel to butt, knee up, foot out. So we're just trying to separate, to have this leg be free and loose. And then we shift, and then bring this knee up, reach it back, shift back, Now this, again, exaggerated, meaning we're going for full challenge, full range, then shift. Let's do 2 more of those. Up, down, freedom of movement, change, heel, knee, foot, down, change, knee, bang, shift. So I'm grounded. That's where my safety comes from, not from tension in the body, but from such looseness that all my weight is connected down. And switch sides. Put the weight in your right foot, left foot out in front. Level 1, just the most casual possible walking. And the mantra that we have to do in the beginning is shift without stepping. So shift without stepping, so I've changed. Step without shifting, so I didn't clumsily fall into that foot. And then I shift without stepping. Now going backwards, shift without step, step without shift, shift without step. Those of you that have been doing it a while, right, you know that once you have discerned full empty and all of that, then you can just kind of go back to walking naturally. You can just go da 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 da, just kind of cruise, because you're comfortable letting your relaxation get you to the ground. Level 2, we go lift, lower, shift, step over something, shift, flamingo, shift back, this leg up, tuck, reach without leaving this leg, shift. Weight going down gives this levity. The chun one, or gravity, gives this the ching ling, or the levity. And then again, I make sure to get my chun one first. That produces ching ling, or the downward connection to the ground produces freedom of movement and safety. So it's the best of both worlds. That's why Tai Chi is so cool. It's almost too good to be true, and yet it is. Let's go level 3, up, down. And when we're moving in a more relaxed state, the other even cooler piece about this is that the body is a regenerative vehicle, right? Our car is not really a regenerative vehicle. It's breaking down over time. And there's some element of the body that's happening, of course, right? Aging. But we're also healing and regenerating all the time. So when we're moving in this loose, relaxed way, it's promoting regeneration, healing, lubrication. The body loves it. It's like a wonderful state to be in. Back. Now, come to the left side of your space. So again, if your chairs were set up like this, now I'm facing the same way you are. Then we turn and face down range. So now I've got a runway to explore the practical, just walk forward. So step without shifting, shift without stepping, step without shift, shift without step, step without shift, shift without step, right? Now, safer, be more careful when going backwards, but it's the same thing. The down, connecting down, gives me the freedom of this foot to go back, and then the down. So I just prioritize, okay, am I down? If so, then this should be able to step with no effort. Down, step. Because the opposite of this is thinking that I gotta be doing something, efforting to get this done. Tai Chi is just like, no, you don't. So your challenge is subtraction, softening, yielding, releasing. Now, see if you can just kind of cruise. Just get that feeling of just cruise across the room. but prioritize down, not forward or backward, just down, 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 down. Relax, loose. Now level 2, if you want to, up and over something. Change, up and over. Change, up and over. Change, relax your shoulders. Drop the arms. At first it feels less stable because you're accustomed to using tension. But like I said, a connoisseur, become aware of any of that extra tension that you're doing and just let go. Up, tuck, reach, and back. All right. Once you've gotten back to that starting position, turn and face forward again. Put all the weight through your left leg and we go out, in. Same idea. Can you separate empty and full? Because notice when I'm doing this, my body doesn't move. My body doesn't move. Rather than glued together, glued together, glued together, glued together. Relax and go out, in, and that's where speed comes in, right? Is the space. Now, out, change. Feet stay glued to the ground. So this foot does not leave the ground, but my weight is here. And then change. And then change. Full, empty. And then change. Full, empty. Change. Stay in your right leg. Bring your left foot in, out. In, out. So the term in Tai Chi is double weighted. If you're double weighted, that means you're sort of glued together here. And so that when you move, things are being pulled along in a sort of clumsy way that you can see when I'm doing this, that's not happening. So just see that it's possible to have this freedom of movement. Now bring the feet together and then change, full, empty, change, full, empty, change, change. So finding down through one, down through the other. Qua, belly, back. This mechanism has to be liberated to find that again. Now, stay in your left leg, right foot out. Change. Stay in your right leg, left foot in. Change. Out. Shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift. Step. Shift. Step. Teacup sitting on your head, undisturbed, because we're just using this space to go back the way we came. And again, this Zhongjung vertical pillar that's kind of has that stillness to it, it's there not because I'm clenching muscles to hold it still. Again, that's what a lot of thinking, it's like an assumption that's inside of the way we think about having good posture, is that we made it and then we hold it there. And that's just not the way the body is built. It's primarily a hydraulic system that, if we train it as such, is way more sustainable, way more regenerative, way more stable and mobile at the same time. There and back again. Let's add to this as you shift. And actually, let's stay here for just a moment. So this is our beginning advanced Tai Chi. So you shift into the right leg and then turn a little bit and then shift into the left leg and turn a little bit from that qua, belly and back. Shift to the right, turn. Shift to the left, turn. Now, our loose, alive octopus tentacles floating in space, when we shift and turn, the hands naturally go like so. The bear washing its paws in the stream. So reach those arms to the right side of your body, then turn the palms. Now we shift left, turn left, and the hands naturally wash through the water. And then they get to the right side of the body, I'm sorry, left side of the body, turn the palms, shift, turn, brush, sweep, and then turn the hands. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Now we add the walking. So shift, turn, brush, sweep. Left foot empty, bring it in. Shift into that left leg, turn, brush, and sweep. Right foot empty, steps out. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Left foot empty, steps in. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Right foot empty, steps out. All right, so this is a advanced Tai Chi, but it's like, let's say level 1A, right? In terms of complexity, we're just moving, but we're adding to it this turning of the waist and this awareness of the hand positions that are not symmetrical. One is doing what's called brush knee, one is doing sweep the leg. We go over this more in the Friday class, of course, where we do a lot of the upper body work. But just really important to get this feeling. Let's go back the other way. Freedom of movement of all the parts organized around interior space. That's what yields the long-term sustainable agility, mobility, and stability of our body. Because if everything's stuck together, I guess you could call that stable, but that's not alive, that's not functional. So training soft, loose, and fluid. One more time, there and back. It's also training a down regulating of the nervous system, slowing down. Training yourself not to rush. One of the things I see with my private clients is that big piece of what gets them in trouble is they leave this state of calm, relax, call it leisurely, right? Because they're at a stoplight or someone says, hey, hurry up, we gotta go, or whatever it is. There's this rush that the world can suddenly force us into. But Tai Chi will allow us to actually move through the world at a pace that is perfectly up to snuff and yet be in a state of total ease. Brush knee, sweep leg, shifting leg, bring the empty foot in, then change into that right leg, turn, brush, sweep, step out, shift and turn, brush and sweep, shift and turn, brush and sweep. And then just settle for a moment. And if you were doing that, you probably feel some activation of the chi, or the warmth of the body, the activation of awareness through the body. That's yang, outward manifesting. Now the yin component is wing, roll, fold, and then settle, hands down to this middle point, the belly button. Turn the hands to face the belly and just stand for a moment. So rather than an outward expansive quality, just by standing and doing nothing, this trains the yinning direction, the regenerating, the settling, the stilling, the refilling, the cool. into our middle reservoir. Then the hands cross and come down. Okay, now I'd like to try one more slightly advanced movement. So come back to the place we started here and come to this right side chair. Now, watch what I do first. So the first exercise that we did when we were walking forward was this sort of effortless melting forward, effortless melting back. Right, so that's one form. It's a very useful form of moving through space. Now the other is this here. So this is an empty foot, and this is a spring-loaded leg, and I push off and I advance, right? And notice this foot slid up behind it like so, and then this front leg is now my full leg, and I push off and I slide this back, right? And so I'm still doing this downward trajectory of push, but then I gotta go down through the leg and connect to the ground. Otherwise, my momentum takes me forward. Same idea as I go back. I'm going back with a little momentum, but it's gotta go down. So please use your chair to stay safe, and let's go forward push. So you advance with a little rush, a little sudden rush, and then you're retreating with a little bit of a boom, it's happening. So I like to call this ballistic movement. There's a bit of boom, a little explosion. So I've loaded up this back leg, and then I'm going advance, right? And then I've loaded up this front leg. This is empty, so then I'm going retreat. And I gotta let this slide back, and this is empty. So by doing that first exercise where we got clear on, okay, that's full empty, now this is full empty. If I've got that space capable through, then I can go boom, boom. Also notice, I mean, I won't say the teacup would not spill any water, but notice that the middle isn't incredibly disturbed. I'm not swinging and lurching my body around. So it's just advance, but I'm still connected down and retreat. So it's a little bit of a jump, almost like a little jump forward, but I'm not jumping up and then down. I'm just advancing, retreat, right? Now get back enough from your chair now that you can do two in a row forward. This is a really good practice. So we're going advance, slide this foot up, change into it again, and then advance one more time. And then retreat. So we go back, I'm in this leg, now I gotta switch again to load this leg and retreat again. So eventually this can be done fast, but just get that interchange of advance, change again, advance. And then retreat, change, retreat. Advance, change, advance, retreat, change again, retreat. Chair is there for safety, and your hand could be on the chair the whole time as you go advance, advance, chair, I'm still holding it, retreat, retreat, my hand slid along the chair. One more time, advance, advance, retreat, retreat. Switch. So now we're on this side. Put the weight in the right leg, left foot is empty. And remember, we did this casual walk here. This is empty. Now we do advance and retreat. This is empty. Now it's full. This is empty. Relaxed body. Just comes along for the ride. Drop your arms, let your arms relax. Chris, notice that your left arm is tucked up like this. Yeah, just relax. Advance, down. Primary direction is still down. Advance and retreat. advance, retreat. Now we back up from the chair a little, so it's right out of reach. And then we're going 2 times, so it's advance, slide that foot up, change the weight into it. So that's how we load the spring, and then we can advance again. And then we're gonna go retreat. You gotta slide this leg back, put the weight into it again, loaded like a spring, and then retreat again. And then we go advance, reload that right leg, advance, and then retreat, sliding back, reload the leg, and retreat. So this one trains us to have a little bit of punch, a little bit of gunpowder in the legs. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And back to standing in the middle, facing forward. Sorry, my screen went away here. Okay. Hands together, rub your palms. Rub the back of one hand, rub your palms, back of other hand, palms, and then go quad, groin, hip flexors, tailbone, lumbar. And then remember our squat that we did, the butt goes back, sit the buttocks, sweep the hands down the outside of the legs, around to the inside, up the inside of the legs, all the way to the belly button. We do it again. Quad, hip flexors, tailbone, up onto your low back lumbar, and then the yang channels of the outside, backside, around, and up the inside, yin side of the legs, to the navel. One more time, 3, the magic number. Lumbar, and then and it's like a little chi reset. And then we finish with up the outer to the shoulder, turn. So that was the yang channels. These are the yin channels. Off, turn, yang up to the shoulder, turn, off. So we do 5 on this arm. And switch. Yang, yin, yang, yin. Just again, a reset of, according to Chinese medicine and the Taoists, the way the qi flows best. And then we do one more wing, roll, fold, settle to the middle. And then we seal the practice when we're officially done, the belly button kind of like a wine barrel cork. Over the top. And then this little hand mudra, grab, fold, which makes a little yin-yang looking symbol. So then we just kind of bring them together and bow. Alrighty, thank you so much, everybody. Have a seat in your chair. If you have any question, comment, concern, insight, epiphany,